Hi, ladies and germs. Friction RC here again. Thought I'd give an update. So basically, I have done the inner wheel arches. I've put some photos, I think, on my Instagram. But yeah, basically, I've managed to bodge together some custom inner wheel arches, which from these I used like ice cream, one of those cylindrical ice cream boxes that I cut down to size. So basically, I had the tire, sort of warped it around the tire using the cook hob. Obviously, you needed the heat, and I don't smoke. I don't have a cigarette lighter or anything, so I used that to kind of bend it into shape. And then using hot glue, I kind of glued it to the body itself. So if I move my thumb out of the way, you'll probably see. Maybe you can. I glued it onto the body. What I had to do is, because it's curved, and if you see the actual outer fender, it's kind of curved here as well. It wasn't an exact fit. There was a gap of about 2 or 3 millimeters. So what I did was I used some of the cuttings from these plastic ice cream box, cut it down to size and glued that as a kind of filler, and then mounted this to that, again hot glue. So it's kind of sitting on there. And I did the same for the rear as well. I managed to cut something. It just happened the way it cut. When I cut it, it kind of warped a bit, and it fit perfectly onto this kind of angle here. So I glued that down and then glued the actual wheel arch to that. But although it's stuck in place, what I realized was, slight knocks and bumps on a car this size is going to feel like going over massive speed bumps. And I don't want to shake it to bits or rip it out, because Lord knows what kind of damage it'll do when you rip it out from it. So if say, for example, because it's hot glue, it rips out, although I don't think it'll break the body, it will rip off some of the paint, and that's what I don't want to do. So what I did was I glued some braces horizontally on both the kind of the front and the rear, and again here and here. So I'm going to pause this now and mount it to the car so you guys can see how it looks. And you'll notice I've had to butcher almost. I'm trying to chamfer it down on, here we go, on here. So if I turn this around, you'll get a good idea of what I mean. So if you look inside, can you see it kind of goes, it's kind of angled. I've had to cut it a bit. I'm going to pause the video now, and I'm going to mount this on the car, and then you'll see why I had to do that. So here we go, folks. So I've got the actual body shell on. Obviously, I haven't put the actual body pins in place. Once I put it to the lowest setting, it'll be all right. But as you can see, this is kind of how it's going to look. Now, here we go. Hopefully that'll be a bit better. You can see there's a few gaps here. What I've done from the inside, I've hot glued, squirted it into the gaps and stuff. So I might have to use my finger or like a little toothpick or something to glue it in so it holds it in place inside like that. The other issues I was having when I was doing this was, now if I turn this around, you might be able to see what I mean. Then if we look through this window, there we go. It's actually hitting the cover for the spur and pinion gear. This is a ready to race. It's on a Maverick Strada ready to race 4-wheel drift machine. So it's got the pinion and spur gear at the back and the cover for that, and it keeps hitting the cover, that brace that I printed. So I've had to kind of butcher it a bit to help lower it in place. The other issues I've had with this when I was mounting and trying to glue it in place, and that's only after I've done it that I realised, is, if I can, I don't know if this is going to work because I'm getting the reflection from the windows. Right, see if we can look inside the car. Right, that's not going to work. Let's try this way. Right, there we go. So that should give you a good kind of view. If I try and zoom in a bit. On the left and on the right, you'll see where the fenders kind of arch out. The front end is hitting the front foam bit that is the front of the car. So if I try and show you from underneath the vehicle, let's bring this in a bit. There we go. And look under hopefully you should be able to see this. There you go. So I'm having to chamfer the edge down because the front wheel arch, the front on both sides, is hitting that, which obviously affects how low it sits. It also means I have to take extra care when I'm putting the body on, because normally when you put one of these bodies on, you can just mount it, line up the holes and slide it down. Whereas now I'm going to have to be a bit extra careful because I really don't want to damage I don't want to rip the thing out or do anything like that. But anyway, it's pretty much done. It's what I wanted to do. What I might try and do is have a bit more budging, because at the moment, if I just pull this off there and pull it off from there. So this is the foam bit that it was catching on. Now I can cut this down to size, but I don't really do that because that acts as a bit of a buffer. But the next thing I want to do is kind of, now it's an arch. This is the arch, but I want to put something along here so it shields it. Like that, do something like that. I can easily cut some stuff down to size and glue it in. But the issue is not that. The issue is obviously all these arms here. It means having to cut holes and, it becomes a long thing. So anyway, I'll see how I get on. But anyway, it's done for what I want. I've made some, I've always wanted to make my own wheel arches. Part of the reason for that is so it doesn't get as dirty inside when I run it outside in the rain. And it looks like it might rain today, so I might give this a bit of a test run outside at some point. What else have I got left to do? Well, the main thing I want to do is install the license plates, which I'll do next. The thing though is now I really wanted to cut this out and put like a mesh grill to it. However, I'm worried that if I now start cutting that, and I'm useless at cutting, as you can probably already tell, I'm going to damage this body and it's going to make it look pants. So what I might do is, if I've got some decals from somewhere, I might just put some decals on there. But anyway, yeah, I'm going to mount the license plate at the front and the back. And the only other thing I might do is put some LEDs. I've never had any of my cars with LEDs on. I bought a Traxxas Rustler secondhand. The guy who I bought it off, he actually had LEDs in it, front and rear. I didn't realise. I was like, what are these extra wires? And one evening when I was running outside, I was like, oh, hold on, it's got lights on it. It's brilliant. So because the body on that Rustler was so bad, I stripped the wires out. So I've got those LED lights. So I might put them in this. If I can figure out how to do it. It should be a simple case of plugging it into the ESC and, wire, hot gluing it on. And now I've got those horizontal bars and things like that. Hopefully it should be easier for me to wire stuff together and mount things. But anyway, yeah, so that's my attempt at making inner wheel arches and some of the issues that I've got with it. I know it looks, when you look at it, sometimes it looks, oh God, that looks like a dog's dinner. But I'm not too worried about that because I can always hide that. I can always put something across there. My main thing is obviously I have to make sure that whatever I do inside here, it fits along here. So it's quite easy to maybe, I know you get these guys where you can print, the inner dashboard and the insides of these cars. So you've got like a drive and a steering wheel. So I can do something like that. Mount it inside so it hides all of that stuff. So when you mount it on the car, you don't see the wires, you don't see anything. But those are kind of pipe dreams. For what I want right now, it's pretty much cool. So anyway, I'll do another video running this outside at some point when it gets a bit wet, just so I can test it out. what I might also do as a side to that is I might put some sidebars going across horizontally like this to cover the gap between the chassis and the tires. So when I do run it in puddles and stuff, it's all well and good having the spray stopping from the tires, but also so no spray gets in here. The main reason I do all this is so I can run it when it's raining outside and a bit muddy on the pavements and roads, without having to every time come back and dry it out and clean it and strip it down. So it is me trying to find a way so I can increase my laziness, if that makes sense. But anyway, I hope you've enjoyed it. Please let me know any suggestions, comments, ideas, feedback. Yeah, so this is Friction RC saying thanks for watching. Hope you've enjoyed my little creation so far. I'll catch you later. Peace.